You're listening to Soul Growth with me, Jade Stoner. Here we go beyond performance and surface level success and return to your true source of power, you. When you come home to yourself, when you allow your soul to lead, you access a depth of peace, safety and self-trust that success alone was never meant to fulfill, without losing your edge, ambition or vision. You get to live a life that feels as eternally rich as it looks outwardly impressive, and it begins within you. Hey, and welcome to Soul Growth. In this episode, I'm getting into creating space and the importance of creating space in your life to receive your next level. Because let's be real, and I've said this to you before, and it's probably truer now than it was when I said it to you before. The world is noisy AF right now. You know, there are experts everywhere telling you that you need this and you need that. AI is becoming increasingly popular and more people are using that to create more content, and there's more content being created than ever before. It's like we're being gotten at from all different directions. Always somebody else's opinions and projections put onto you. And as someone who's a high performer, a top achiever, high achiever, top performer, whichever way you want to frame it, and wanting to be the best that you can be, it can be really easy to get lost in all of this noise and feeling like you need to do all of the things because you have that innate desire in you of growth, of drive, of getting to the next level. But the thing is, that same drive that helped you to get you to where you are now is also what is keeping you here. It's what is going to keep you from being able to access that next level and access it in a way that doesn't compromise who you are as a person or lead you to burnout or make you question how you feel about it. You know, for a lot of people, you appear to be successful from the outside, but you don't feel that same level of success on the inside. And what you're really craving is the inner peace and the fulfillment and all of these things that you were sold somewhere along the line that success was going to bring you. And that probably hasn't been the case. And no shame in that. This is part of what we are undoing right now and learning new ways to be and experience life in ways where you get to experience the success on the outside and you also get to have and experience success on the inside too, that inner success. When you are constantly under pressure and feeling like you need to do more and actually even be more, that pressure is actually pulling you away. It's distracting you from who you truly came here to be. And as I shared with you in the last episode, old keys won't open new doors. So in order for you to get to your next level, it's about doing things in ways that perhaps you haven't done before, or you've done a little bit here and you've done a little bit there, but you've probably stopped doing because it felt unfamiliar. It felt like, oh, that was too easy. Oh, that can't possibly continue to keep on working. But this is all about this new era. It's all about creating new ways of being and showing up in life to have new experiences. And part of that is about creating space in your life. So the old world way of thinking is more. I need to do more, and almost no white space in your life. The only time you have white space in your life is when you're sleeping or when you're sick in bed and you just physically can't do anything. But it's now about intentionally creating that space within your life. And in this new era, less is more. Quality, not quantity. When you're filling yourself up all the time with all of this noise, whether that's the noise of other people's opinions or their expertise, their blueprints, their how-tos, it's all about listening to other people's stuff. And what it is doing is when we are consuming so much, whether it's about health, success, money, wealth, being the best version of you, whatever category it is in, it's creating some level of overstimulation. And when you're overstimulated, you can't hear your own inner voice. And if you do hear it in amongst the cracks of all of the noise, it's very likely that you question it and you doubt it. This has been very much my experience over the years, and I believe I've touched on this in a previous episode way back when. But what I've really seen this year is how much this has impacted me, what a detriment it's been. When I first started out sharing my work in personal growth, in spiritual growth, it was very much me. Was it always polished and clean? Probably not. Were there ways that I could have said things better? Probably. And looking outside of myself, looking to all of these experts, these people that are experts in marketing, in business, in content creation, whatever the thing is, placing them and their voice above my own, it distorted my own essence. It distorted me. It was like I believed, and it wasn't like, looking back, I can see this was actually true, is believing that they know better than you. And this is something that's very deeply ingrained in us and in our society, believing that someone or something outside of ourselves knows better than us. We're taught this from a very young age, right? We go to school and we're taught to learn information, to consume information in a certain way. And if your way of learning doesn't match that way of learning, then you're told directly or indirectly that there's something wrong with you. Sometimes we're punished for it. I saw a post online today. Of course, I don't know if this is true. It's just come to mind as I'm sharing this with you. And it says that a boy somewhere in the world was suspended from school because he asked his teacher, if two blind people have a baby together, who's watching the baby? Now, I don't know the context of that. It may have been said sarcastically, rudely, in jest or whatever. But actually, let's break it down. It's a logical question for a child to ask. And he was punished for that. He was punished for asking a question, for exploring whatever came up within him. And I'm sure we all know of someone that had some kind of experience of that, or we can remember an experience. Think about a child raising their hand in class and asking a question and being laughed at. All of those things internalize within you that it's not safe to be you. It's not safe to trust what's coming up for you, what's going on inside of you. And of course, that's not really true. But particularly when we take it on as children, we take it on in a way that we're unable to question it in the same way. And we just take that in and it becomes a belief in life and it becomes a thing. So my point in sharing all of this is that we're very much taught and told how to be in life from a very young age. And if your way doesn't match that of the masses, then there's something wrong with you. But I know that if you're here, that your questioning of the world, that is a part of you for a reason. You're meant to question the way that you do because you're meant to create new ways of doing things. Remember from the last episode how I shared with you about creating these new timelines and architecting these new realities. This is what it's about. You have a unique way of showing up in the world, a natural way of doing things. And just because it doesn't match the way everybody else does stuff doesn't mean that it's wrong. It probably means you're just meant to create new ways of doing stuff. That's why you are where you are in your career right now. That's why you are where you are in your life. Because you are doing things in a new and different way. You're meant to be a visionary, a trailblazer. You are a visionary. You are a trailblazer. But when you allow the noise of the outside world to really, what's the word that I'm looking for? Infect you. That's what came up. You really allow it to infect you and distort you. And that's what I was sharing with you when I went through all of these years of looking to all of these experts and putting their voices and their expertise above my own inner knowing. The visions that I had inside of me, the feelings and the knowings that I had inside of me were to create in one way. But my way didn't fit the paradigm of somebody else. And therefore, when I'm learning from these people and they're saying, you need to do it in this way, I was then believing my way was wrong. Not that my way was different or that I'm meant to perhaps create a new way of doing things, just that it was wrong. And you do this over and over again for a prolonged period of time, you're lost. You're left questioning yourself and spinning. And that was very much my experience. So all of these years that I spent filling myself up with other people, there was no space for my own guidance to not only come through, because often it did come through, but then to act on it, and to act on it in a way that was confident and to keep rolling with it. And when I did roll with it, there would come a point that I would stop. And I 100% get that that was my journey and my experience, and it was meant to happen that way. It's all soul growth. And I also recognize all of the time lost. So the reason that I'm sharing all of this with you is to share with you that when we are giving our power away, when we are looking outside of ourselves for the answers, believing that somebody else knows better than us, knows more than us, knows our soul and our own unique blueprints better than we do, that's when you trip yourself up. I think about Henry Ford. When Henry wanted to invent this thing called a car, he was ridiculed, he was laughed at. Probably told it'll never work, it'll never take off. All of those kind of things. And actually, he listened to his own inner voice. And today, we have cars. I think about planes and the Wright brothers, again, told nonsense, ridiculous, all of the things. And if they hadn't have listened to themselves, you and I wouldn't be able to get around the world as quickly and easily as we do in a plane. There are hundreds of these stories. And the reason that they were able to take on these visions is because they had the space. They had the energetic, the mental space to receive these ideas, these downloads, and to act on them. In this day and age, when we live in this noisy world of overstimulation and we are being got at from every single angle, it is more difficult to create the space. But it's not any less important. In fact, it's more important now than ever before for you to create that space. Because your most powerful ideas and your guidance of how to get from where you are now to where you want to be, your guidance for creating the next level that you want to create, all of that comes in silence. It doesn't come in the noise. You can't hear it in the noise. It's like being in a festival with thousands of people and loud music like blaring out, and you're trying to have a quiet conversation. It's not a match. You have to put yourself in the environments to create space and silence, or create those situations for yourself. Again, the most powerful ideas and your guidance, they come in silence. And that's why you often receive ideas in the shower or when you're walking or just doing a mundane task. You're not trying to receive anything. What's happening is that you've created the space, you've opened yourself up, and you receive the download just like that. Because that's when your soul and your spirit team can get through to you. So creating the space is whatever that looks like for you. Some of the ways that I've begun to create that space in my own life is consciously meditating. I would love to say every day but you already know me, I'm going to keep it real. I don't meditate every day right now, and that's something that I'm definitely working on. And sometimes it's just simply because I forget. But I notice, I feel it within myself when I haven't meditated. And on a morning that I've forgotten, it'll get to the afternoon at some point and I'll be feeling a bit congested energetically, like I feel tight, I feel a bit anxiety, I feel just overstimulated, like there's a lot going on. And then it's like, I forgot to meditate today. And I either accept that and keep it moving, or I then make the effort to meditate, even if it's in the afternoon. It's something I ideally like to do in the morning to start my day, but whenever it gets done is more important than not doing it at all. I used to walk and not be listening to anything. And over, I don't even know, maybe like the past year or so, I've started to take up that space when I'm walking and use it to also listen to music, listen to a podcast, listen to a subliminal, whatever it is, and therefore taking up that white space. And what I'm consciously coming back to, and it's not every single walk, but at least 2 out of 3, my intention is to walk in silence. And because I'm so used to the noise when I'm walking these days, it feels a little bit uncomfortable sometimes to be walking in silence. And that's exactly the time to lean in and to repattern myself to get used to walking without the noise. Because those times of walking, those times of meditation, they are not just times to receive, because you don't always receive. I don't always receive. But it's a time of clearing the catch. No, it's not catch. It's cache, but I don't like saying clearing the cache, because who wants to clear the cache? No, we're trying to stack cache. But it is about clearing all of the other stuff out. And sometimes that's what it needs, right? Just because you're not putting any new noise in, you're having to clear the debris of some of the past noise to be able to clear. So if you consciously set the intention to receive a certain piece of information, you've asked a question and you're not hearing it straight away, it doesn't mean it's not working. It means sometimes you have to clear out some space from the past stuff that you've consumed in order to hear the new stuff. And it's a practice. This isn't something that you do, I'll do it for a week because I need to figure out my next career move. This is something that is for you for the rest of your life. Your connection to and with yourself and with your soul and with spirit, that's a for life thing. And it's something that gets to be strengthened over time. But you have to make the effort. You have to show up. You have to create the space. And you have to keep showing up, even when you feel like you're not getting anything or you're not getting what you need. So figure this out for yourself. Be mindful of when you're about to do something like start scrolling on your phone or listening to a podcast or listening to music or whatever the thing is for you. Be mindful of when you're about to do that and make sure it's a conscious decision to do that, and you're not just trying to fill the space because you're uncomfortable with it. You're not trying to fill the silence because you're uncomfortable. Because those times that you feel uncomfortable is your body is communicating something with you. Your mind is communicating something with you. Your soul is communicating something with you. And the question is, what is that? Instead of drowning it out with noise, it's about learning to be comfortable in that discomfort and sitting with it and allowing it to deliver the messages that you need to receive, the direction that you need to receive, and about allowing that discomfort to expand you as well. However you choose to create more space for yourself, the most important thing is that you do it. And in that space that you simply be. We're not doing anything. We're not picking up our phones. We're not scrolling mindlessly or just scrolling, whatever the opposite of mindlessly is. We're not trying to fill the space. The intention is to create space, because when you create the space, that's when you hear the voice of your inner guidance. That's when you receive the instructions that are unique to you, not unique to somebody else. And over time, the more you take action on that stuff, the more that you move forward with it, the more trust you build within yourself and within your spirit team, and you stop giving your power away to anybody else. And that's such an important distinction, and you've likely already been doing that in some parts of your life, but this is about doing it in all parts of life, personally and professionally, in the small things and in the big things, and allowing this to become a way of life. Because the truth is, your soul knows the quickest way to get you to where you want to be, without overworking yourself, without burning yourself out, without feeling like you're selling your soul. So this isn't so much about learning a new way of doing stuff. This is about remembering how you are naturally coded, how you were designed to show up in the world before the noise of the outside world infected you. This is how you get back to you, and this is how you create what you are uniquely positioned to create in this world in a way that only you can. That's all for this episode. I will see you in the next one. Big love. Mwah. Thank you for joining me on Soul Growth. There's something in this episode that was meant for you to hear. Whatever it activated within you, trust it, act on it. And remember, it's all soul growth.